So hello there and welcome to another video of The Shield Doing a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and tonight we're going to keep on going with the top 25, and we're down to the last 10 albums of the year for me. So yes, these are the best of the best for me and the ones that stood out the most. So at number 10, I have a band from Texas. They're like a progressive metal band, but they influence a lot of soul or R&B into their music. And I actually saw them in concert when I moved to Florida. I think in 2018 or 2019, I saw them and they were great. And I'm talking about the band Oceans of Slumber. And this is their newest album, Starlight and Ash. And on this album, the band went more commercial sounding, more like sensibilities, clean singing, less prog, more soul in their songs. On songs like The Waters Rising, The Lighthouse, incredible song, and The Hanging Tree, just to name a few. It's just a great album. Cami, the lead singer, she's one of the best vocalists in metal and rock, hands down. She's just got such a soulful voice, and you really feel her passion in the music. And they haven't lost their prog elements, but on this one, I think they try to trim the fat and do like more concise songs, and it works. I think it's gonna help the band be bigger, and it's just a great record all around that I truly enjoyed. And I can't say enough good things about that band and Cami's vocals. To me, she's the band. The musicians are great, but without Cami in the vocals, like there's no Oceans of Slumber for me. So hopefully she stays with the band because she's got a unique, great voice. And that's why Oceans of Slumber is at my number 10. So coming up at my number 9 is a band that they put out a third album, and it's Moontooth, and I just love this artwork. And the album title is Phototroph, and this is a band that has had a kind of a tumultuous year because Nick, their guitar player, was in the hospital for a few months, and they did a GoFundMe, and I interviewed him for the band. Great guy, great guitar player, and I'm very glad to see that he pulled through and he's getting better. And this band on this album, on that interview, we talk a lot about this cover and the duality of their music. They have like prettier sounds with more like sinister tones, but they're very great. And the vocalist has like it's an interesting way of the way he sings. It's like kind of like metal with some southern rock harmonies on songs like Carry Me Home, which is one of the highlights of the album. But there's such great tracks like Death Wish Blues, that the Eye That Never Dies. Sorry, that's just a tongue twister. And Alpha Howl, just great songs, great album. And obviously this album artwork is just exquisite. And that's why Moontooth Phototroph comes at my number 9. So moving along, the other band that comes at number 8 is a band that I have followed for a few years now. And they started like doing like death metal with thrash metal, but they're more of a death metal band. And I'm talking about the great band Revocation. And this is their latest album, Nether Heaven. And if you want brutality, if you want great riffing, this album is for you. I remember the last album was all about like outer space theme, but in this one, it's all about reaching like hell. And it's, it's very evil sounding. The guitar player and singer is just amazing on this one. And there's some great riffing on this album all around. I love the lead track, Diabolical Majesty, and the video where they shot it, and they're like people are skateboarding. It's just great. Then you have songs like Strange and Eternal, Nihilistic Violence, and Re-Crucified, which ends the album and featured Trevor Strand and George Corpse Grinder, and of course Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder. And that song, all three of them, the vocals work really great. So this is, to me, the best death metal album of the year, hands down. And I think Revocation is a band that if you don't know them, you need to know them because they have great songs. And my God, the technicality, even though on this album, I think they're technical, but sometimes they kind of try to like tone it down a little bit on this album. And I think it suits the songs. Great all around album. So that's why it's my at number 8. So number 7, if a band that I've been listening to a while now. They have a few albums. They're from San Francisco, California. They're called Black Map. And if you like bands like Chevelle, they have some similarities, but not like a copy paste of Chevelle by any means. And this album is called Melodoria, and it's just great alternative rock. I love how they sing, very cleanly and you can understand, but there's some great riffing on it. To me, the standout tracks here are Super Deluxe. I just love that track, the bass on it, and Chasm, and also Nothing Over Me and Witching Hour are great. And I love the artwork. So this is a band that if you like alternative rock, with you can say that it's more on the commercial side, but not super commercial. It's just great music, and this is a band that I think need to be more big because they're just great, and I don't see a lot of people talking about them. And I think this is a great record. So I'm gonna praise Black Map because they're just great and they keep improving, and this is a great record, and that's why it is at my number 7. So finally, my number 6 album. It's a band that I also interviewed, and it's a band that throughout the pandemic, they put out a trilogy of records, and this album is the last of that trilogy of records, and it's King Buffalo with Regenerator. And this is psychedelic prog rock, like Pink Floyd means Baroness and Mastodon, mashed it all together, and you get the sound of King Buffalo. I also interviewed the singer and guitarist of the band, and we talked a lot about this album, and I just love this album. It's great. It feels like you're floating into outer space, and just look at the cover. It's a great album cover. So the songs that I would say are the best here for me are Mammoth. That's just a great tracks, and the initial track Regenerator and Hours are the ones that stood out for me the most. But it's just a great record. There's not a whole lot of tracks on it, but something that this album does great is like the flow of the songs. Like it feels like a continuation of each song flowing into the next seamlessly, and it's just great. And if you don't know King Buffalo, please listen to them. They're a great band. So that's why it comes at my number 6. So people, the next video will be the last video of the year, and it's going to be my top 5 albums of the year, but it will have Señorita Sabrosura, and she will have her top 5. So we're going to talk about 10 albums, and it's going to be interesting. So comment, what are your albums that you have in your list for this year? What do you think about these bands? Have you heard any of them, or if you haven't heard them, are you curious to listen to them? So again, if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to subscribe. And don't forget to give me a like. All that subscribing, commenting really helps the channel grow. So I'm very grateful for everyone that comments and gives me a like, because it really makes my day. And please subscribe, and I'll see you on the last video of the year, my top 5 albums of the year. So until next time, this is Hector, the Shield Dude in the Couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you, and good night.